Hello and welcome to my Facebook Live, day 119 of 365 days. And today I want to talk about this documentary that I saw on Netflix, which really touched my heart in so many ways. And Ron is doing yard work in our home. So I see this fence here. There's like a good 3 feet from this fence to our actual property line, which is like another fence. So it had like a bunch of shrubs in there, so he's cleaning it all out. It's like one of those like deep cleaning situations that it looks worse before it gets better. It's kind of like that. So all of that shrubby noise, that's Ron cleaning up our yard, making our home feel so amazing. So I wanted to talk about this documentary, and if you've watched it, please let me know. Tell me what you felt and how if it did change your perception on men, especially men who maybe we can think that there's no hope for them, or maybe we can think have some judgment against the men who are incarcerated, right? And just let me know what you felt when you saw this documentary. How, what was your takeaway when you saw it? So to break it down, what the documentary was about, it's called The Daughters. It's on Netflix. And basically it's where these men who are incarcerated, who have daughters, the daughters get to have like a daddy-daughter dance at the jail or at the prison or whatever it is. I know there's like a difference, I think, between jail and prison, but you get what I'm saying. A lot of these prisons don't allow for touch, meaning there's no in-person visits inside anymore, apparently, from what I've understood in this documentary. And it's only through the plexiglass that they can talk or see. Okay, I hope my phone does not overheat, which would really suck because I would have to start this whole thing all over again. Let me see if I could put it in the shade. Okay, so I'm going to try to make this pretty quick then, because I think my phone might overheat here in the sun. What the takeaway that I got from this documentary, which, by the way, the men have to do a 10-week coaching program inside of jail, instead of their prison, in order for them to be able to have that father-daughter dance. So it's not just okay, let's just do this. It's a full legit program where these men go through these different coaching sessions. I'm assuming that it's weekly. They're in a big group with a leader, and they learn a bunch of things. I'm not sure everything that they learn, but they learn about fatherhood. And I saw this diagram on there that it said fatherhood, manhood, boyhood, and I can't remember what the bottom was. They talked about father wounds and mother wounds. They got to share in this circle, right? And that alone showed wow, okay, this is pretty amazing. That these men get to learn things that they'll probably never learn outside in the hood with their buddies. And maybe that their partner will never even be able to share with them unless their partner goes on a journey. So on the other side as well, the mothers and the daughters have to go through these classes as well, and teaching the mothers that you have to forgive, even though their boyfriends or husbands or baby daddies may have done things to them that have been very hurtful or whatever. They have to learn to forgive and get out of the way so that their daughters can have a relationship with their fathers. So it's a whole thing where they target both the father, both the mother, and the daughter in order to have this one day for 6 hours. And what I found so beautiful was obviously the moment that they met with their daughters. That is a tearjerker. I was crying, I'm on my period too, so that doesn't help. And I'm oh my God, this is so beautiful. For them to be able to witness that. And in my mind, as I'm watching this, I'm okay, great. Let's see what happens. I'm creating all these judgments in my mind. Okay, let's see if they break their hearts, if they break these girls' hearts and make these promises to these girls that they can't keep, and which they had to do at the dance. At the dance, they had this thing on their suits because they were in suits. They weren't in their they weren't in the in their orange jumpsuits. They were in full, like, on looking good, you know, suits, like, to a dance. They had this, like, flower thing, and they had to give it to their daughters and tell them, make them a promise. Like, I'm getting emotional. Make them a promise to them. And, like, these men are crying, grown-ass men that are in jail, bad-ass men, you know, who are, you think, that are heartless, who you think have no emotions. Which goes to show that men are so capable of emotions, even the hardest of men. I don't know why they're there. They don't share, which I think is great. Maybe some of them did some things that, you know, that were, like, I do feel that a lot of men are incarcerated for really dumb reasons, and, like, for weed compared to, like, rape or pedophilia. Like, you can get some ridiculous amount of years, and then rape and pedophilia they get free. Like, it's just really ridiculous. I do think that some of them are in there for maybe something that's ridiculous. I think others are in there for something more serious. Either way, they, at the end, they share 1 year afterwards, 4 year afterwards. I was like, wow, they really filmed this and waited 5 years before to release it in order to show like, okay, let's gather some evidence, like, which is what a documentary is about. At the end, they interview some men, and some of these men, I'm thinking, like, God, I don't know, like, they looked emotionless. I'm like, I don't know if anything is getting through to them. It was hard for them to even connect to their daughters, at least from what they captured in the documentary. And at the end, this one guy said, you know, I've been in and out of jail for 6 months, like, ever since I can remember it. The longest I haven't been in jail was, like, 6 months, I think he said. He's like, I have been out of jail for 5 years now. 4 years. I was like, wow. And then I saw the other guy that was emotionless, and, like, he was there with his daughter, and he'd been out there, he's doing good for himself. So at the end of the day, at the end of the thing, it says that the men who joined this program, 95% do not go back into jail. 95% do not go back into jail. That is a huge fucking number. That is so huge, which shows you so many things. Shows you that, number one, these men, they need community and they need direction. They need a beacon of light to show them what fatherhood is, what your childhood wounds are, what your father wound is, what your mother wound is, how to be a father and how to show up. And they taught them actually also about the family unit and how that's so important, at least from the clips that I saw. So men need that. Men, I mean, we all do, but it just shows you that these men, that it helps. It supports them on their growth of evolution. Number two, these men are doing this for their, like, for them, I'm sure, for it's always for you first, but what I believe is the inspiration for their change is their daughters, the feminine, for them to feel and hug, see the tears, feel their energy, and see how much it meant to them when they saw their daughters in person and spent those 6 hours together. 6 hours, like, it's beyond the plexiglass. And it was this one moment that really defined their moment in their life to change that trajectory. So men, even the harshest of men can change. Even the harshest of men can evolve. Who knew a 10-week program could do something like that? Could be so powerful to stop generational trauma and dysfunction. And this is what it is. This 10-week coaching program that they went through was about stopping generational trauma, because a lot of these men have said, oh yeah, my father was in jail, my father was in jail, my father was in jail. So it's repetitive. It is repeating. And they also stopped this trauma, this generational trauma for their daughters, because guess what? They came back for their daughters, and their daughters, if they decide to choose a man who, let's say, does go to jail, I think they will have the courage to say, this is not for me. Right? These fathers are helping break the generational dysfunction through a 10-week coaching program, and through the power of their daughters, through the power of the feminine, because the feminine is what inspired these men to change. Like, it touched my heart so much to see this. And it showed me the goodness in men. Men want to do right by us. Even men who have gone to jail and who've been in repeatedly go back in there. But when they're taken in the right direction, guided, and they're feminine, and then the inspiration is their daughters, or something like feminine inspiration invokes their masculine leadership, consistency to be there for them. This is what it showed me. And I hope that women who watch this, who've had a hard time believing in the goodness of men, can see this, can see that men can change. Men can change. And this is not saying to stay in a relationship that is toxic, that is not serving you. I am not saying that at all. Do not stay for potential. Stay for the actual reality of change and the actual reality of what is right now. But what I would love for women to see when they look at that is to see the goodness in men, and that men can change, and that we can change this world. We can evolve this world. 95% do not go back to jail. That is so fucking huge. I can't even tell you. Like, I'm sure you know that. You know that. You know that. It's not 10%. It's not 30%. 95% to go back. That is, fuck, man. That is huge. And like, it really inspired. My heart was like, I would love to do something like that. When the time calls, I would love to support in some way or shape like this, helping communities that need the help to change the trajectory of their lineage. So let me know what you experienced when you saw it. What did you see? What did you feel? What hope did it give you for the future? What hope does it give you for changing, like, the collective by watching this documentary? Because that's what I saw. What I saw is like, holy shit, if this is a program that's out there, which I'm sure they run maybe once a year or something like that, but once a year, to have 95% of the men who do this program not go back to jail and are actually consistent fathers for their daughters, it is huge. It is huge for the father, it is huge for the daughter, and it's huge for the baby mama, whether it's the wife, the girlfriend, or just the baby mama. Like, it is so big. It like extremely touched my heart, and like, it just, I've always believed, but things like this make me, it's like, yes, this is available. This is available in the world. This is available, and you can break the system. You don't have to stay stuck in the system of pain and suffering and what has been repeated, either in your own life or what you saw in your parents' life. Like, I just thought it was so beautiful. I feel like, is there anything else about that I want to share about it? I think one of the biggest things about it too was about them learning about, you know, it was a very intentional program. Like, they brought a lot of intention into that to share about what it means to be a father, what it means, and probably highlighting things in their life that they probably have never shared. And all these grown-ass men in jail crying in front of each other with their daughters. Like, it was just shows you men are so capable of feeling, men are so capable of change, and we have to stop putting them in this box that they can't. And just because one man in front of you says that is not available to change, this does not mean that there are that every man is like him. You get what I'm saying? Men are 100% capable of feeling. have to inspire that in them. So let me know what you thought. I'm going to conclude this live now. Would love to see what you thought about it when you watch it. So you can either comment on this live or just send me a message, because that documentary was beautiful and shows you the change that can happen in the world. All right. Have a beautiful rest of your Sunday, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.